If you think switching to electric with a small van will save money for your business in the long term, then you'll want one that'll be well looked after. Fiat's improved E Doblo might well fit the bill, and there are few practical compromises over the diesel version. Fiat's E Doblo is a small EV van with big ideas, and the electric version got a significant update in 2024 to create the little LCV we're going to try here. It's a dob to save a few bob. Small vans are of big importance when it comes to reducing smog in our cities. With other sizes of LCV, you can see why for many operators diesel still makes sense. Small vans, though, less troubled by the issues of payload and range, which trip up EV vans in other categories, ought to be electric. If you run a few in your fleet, but you're still wedded to the black pump, then possibly you're just waiting for the right proposition to come along. Maybe this could be it. Fiat's E Doblo, here usefully improved. Historically, the Doblo model line's been Fiat through and through, but the current generation version, first launched here in mid-2022, then improved in spring 2024, is a platform-shared Stellantis Group design, which means it's essentially the same thing as a Citroën e-Berlingo, a Peugeot e-Partner, or a Vauxhall Combo Electric. The Toyota 𝗙ecie Electric's the same too. Which means that apart from the badging, the differences here lie in value, service, support and warranty. As we'll see though, these could be significant. Just how significant, you'll need the industry's most comprehensive review, the Car and Driving Road Test, to find out. Of course, an E Doblo isn't any different to drive than its Peugeot e-Partner, Citroën e-Berlingo, Vauxhall Combo Electric or Toyota 𝗙cie Electric Stellantis design cousins. You start off in the default normal drive mode, and the other selectable drive settings are Eco and Power. You'll need the Power mode to unleash the electric motor's full 136 horsepower output with 270 newton meters of torque, though if you drive like that, you will of course get nowhere near the improved 50 kilowatt hour battery's enhanced WLTP rated best driving range figure of up to 213 miles. That's 30 miles further than before. Obviously that'll fall with heavy loads in the back. For day-to-day use in an E Doblo, it's better to stick to the normal mode, which restricts output to 108 horsepower, or possibly around town to Eco mode, though that gives you just 81 horsepower and restricts the climate system. Normal mode should be fine for realistic maximisation of range, particularly if you're proactive with the regenerative braking paddles that have been added behind the steering wheel. There are 3 settings. As usual with EVs, if you do need performance, it's only a right foot jab away. 62 miles an hour from rest occupies 11.2 seconds, but the instant response you get to 30 miles an hour makes this LCV feel quicker than that. Overtakes are easy too. 50 to 75 mile an hour takes 8.9 seconds. Whichever Doblo powertrain you choose and whichever body shape, standard L1 or this long L2, you'll find that the driving position is pretty good, with the steeply raked windscreen and low bonnet combining to give great visibility. Combine that with big panoramic door mirrors and the result is a vehicle you can be confident about driving even in the most congested city streets, where the light steering facilitates a tight turning circle, 11.2 meters in the short wheelbase version and 12.5 meters for this long wheelbase model. On all variants, the ride quality is quite firm, but as usual on a van, noticeably improves with a heavy load out back. This Doblo might be a rebadged version of an existing Stellantis Group small LCV design, but at least from the front end, it doesn't look it. The nose, smartened up for this revised model, gives this van its own sense of urban style, with Fiat's latest retro brand badge where you'd normally expect the grille to be. Cooling is taken care of by a large intake lower down. As you'd expect, there's a choice of either an L1 short wheelbase or this L2 long wheelbase body shape for this panel van. The latter also available in a 5-seater crew cab version. Sadly though, there's no option for the kind of high roof variant that was so useful to operators with the previous generation Doblo cargo sold here between 2010 and 2022. All versions have 16-inch steel wheels which feature these smart full-width hubcaps with top Primo trim. At the rear there's now a prominent Fiat badge on the right-hand door. Almost as prominent is this high-level stoplight, and with this top Primo trim you get this body-coloured rear bumper. As usual with an LCV, the tail lamp design is vertical and linear to maximise the opening aperture of doors that feature integrated hidden hinges designed to provide greater security against theft. The key changes made though to this updated Doblo lie inside at the wheel. Let's take a look. Now the main news here is that properly modern screen tech has arrived for this Doblo, or at least it will have, provided you've avoided base trim. A dashboard redesign has allowed for the installation of 2 new screens. First there's this 10-inch digital instrument cluster, and pressing this button by your right knee varies what you see, flanking the central speed, gear selection and prevailing speed limit readout, either round dials, trip data, an energy flow meter or nothing. If navigation's been fitted, the screen can also show guidance directions too, saving you the need to look away to the middle monitor. Ah yes, the middle monitor. There's also been a big step forward in infotainment with the installation of this larger 10-inch central screen. This central monitor uses a Qualcomm Snapdragon cockpit platform that integrates AI for the first time. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and voice control are all included, and there's navigation too with this top spec version. This monitor has various home screens, here starting with one prioritising audio settings and EV functions, and also providing links to sections for navigation, phone, mirror screen functions and ADAS features. Alternatively, you can swipe left for a full nav map or swipe left again for another home screen full of icon widget boxes, including the usual Stellantis screen applications drawer, which is where the full energy section sits, and you can also access 11 different games. There's also a climate section too, though thankfully the main climate functions are still controlled by a row of physical buttons below this monitor. Base spec Doblos do without this centre screen but get a redesigned smartphone station instead, allowing you to control the infotainment screen using your handset. There is no lack of storage space in the cab, 16 storage points according to Fiat, these including a 15-litre area in the centre console with USB-A and USB-C ports nearby. You also get a large glove box just above a shallow ledge that sits above an open lower storage area. There's additionally an overhead shelf, a long, shallow lidded box ahead of the instrument binnacle and a recessed area behind the central screen. There's a coin slot to cover the area for the grip control dial if you haven't specified it, and you get a cup holder at either end of the dash top, decent door bins and ticket clips in the sun visors, and a concealed storage area below the middle seat, plus Fiat provides 2 coat hooks on the bulkhead. Avoid base trim, and there's a load-through hatch allowing long items to be pushed through from the cargo bay. As expected, it's all very car-like, and ahead of you there's a redesigned oversized steering wheel which now includes paddle shifters for the brake regen and can now be heated. As before, it adjusts for both reach and rake. You sit very comfortably with height and lumbar adjustment as well as a built-in armrest. And there's now the option of this useful digital rearview mirror. This is a place to do business and scout for business, which you'll be able to do more easily with your laptop if you pull on this blue tab and fold out the centre part of this middle seat backrest, which creates a swivelling work surface. This feature another thing that's standard above base trim. At the time of this review in spring 2025, Fiat wanted from around £26,500 for this E Doblo model, that figure including subtraction of the government's £2,500 plug-in van grant. There's a choice of standard, plus, or as in this case, plusher Primo levels of trim. The base price is for the short wheelbase L1 version it's probably worth stretching to the long wheelbase L2 variant that we have here, which costs around £950 more. With base trim and the L2 body shape, there's also a crew van variant with a second fold-out seating row. That crew van is available from around £25,000 in combustion form. The E Doblo crew van is available from around £29,000 in EV form after grant deduction. With all E Doblos, a 7.4 kilowatt onboard charger is standard, with an optional 11 kilowatt one as an alternative. As for rivals, well, obviously the other Stellantis group designed versions of this design are priced similarly, so you'll want to check out comparable deals on the Peugeot Partner, Citroën Berlingo, Vauxhall Combo and Toyota 𝗙liche models in question. Other key segment rivals in the same pricing ballpark include Renault's Kangoo and its rebadged cousins, the Nissan Townstar and the Mercedes Citan. If it's this Doblo that you want, if you buy in at the base trim level, you'll get the basics included as standard and a bit more. You might not expect bottom spec to include features like eco LED headlights, air conditioning, cruise control with a speed limiter, driver's seat lumbar adjustment, high beam assist, rear parking sensors and an overhead storage shelf. Plus there's a near side sliding side door with an additional offside side door added on this L2 long wheelbase model. Try though to stretch at least as far as mid-range plus trim, because you have to do that to get the key practicality feature that Fiat fits here, the load through bulkhead hatch that allows you to push long items through from the cargo bay into the cab. Plus, trim is also the starting point for the key interior improvements Fiat's made with this updated model, namely the addition of a 10-inch digital instrument cluster and a 10-inch central touchscreen, the latter replacing the smartphone station that you get with base spec. Plus, trim also gets you a centre multi-purpose seat in the front bench and a black painted finish for the side protection panels. Here we've got top primo trim, which adds navigation and rain sensitive wipers, front fog lights, a body coloured rear bumper, power folding mirrors, full sized hubcaps for the 16-inch wheels and a Thatcham security alarm. There's also a new dynamic surround view camera system with close obstacle detection that gives you a visual indicator and a signal if you're getting too close to something at parking speeds. When it comes to options, it's worth pointing out that nearly all the extra features fitted to Plus or Primo variants can be fitted to a base spec Doblo at extra cost. Whatever Doblo you choose, remember that unless you order it in the only standard colour, that's solid gelato white, then you're going to need to spend 500 quid more on one of the metallic shades. We've got Volare Blue Metallic here. Your Fiat professional dealer is going to want you to consider one of the available optional packs. We'd want the cargo pack, which gives you brighter LED illumination and a 12-volt socket for the load area, along with 4 extra stowage tie-down rings. If your Doblo will be delivering to places like building sites, then you might also want the worksite kit pack, which includes extra ground clearance, engine protection, reinforced tyres, Fiat's useful grip control system for extra slippery surface traction, and a spare wheel, which can also be ordered separately. For this E Doblo, you should set aside some extra budget for 2 key things. The optional 11 kilowatt tri-phase onboard charger, which will allow you to charge more quickly via a 3-phase power supply if your business has access to that, and the ePTO electric power takeoff system, which will allow you to power external devices like power tools or lights from your E Doblo's dry battery. To get a heat pump with this EV, which will preserve driving range in colder conditions, you've to pay extra for the winter pack, which also includes a leather heated steering wheel and automatic air conditioning. Now, with all Doblo models, as usual with vans, you can add glazing to the bulkhead and rear doors and a non-skid wood base for the cargo area floor if you want it. And with this Primo spec, you can add a second sliding side door to the L1 version. Standard safety kit fitted across the range includes the usual twin front and side airbags, linked of course to an 𝗙cie system, plus an automatic braking setup, lane keeping assist, driver attention alert, and an excessive speed warning, plus tyre pressure monitoring and the usual aids for traction and stability. The optional driver assist pack gives you an enhanced advanced emergency braking system, an extended panels recognition setup, and a degree of semi-autonomous drive tech with lane positioning assist, highway integrated assist, and adaptive cruise control with stop and go. Let's take a look in the cargo area. The twin rear doors open wide, and you can extend them out further by releasing these little yellow stays. As usual with an electric van, there's no capacity downside in opting for this EV version. This little LCV's load volume is up to 3.3 cubic meters in short wheelbase form, and even with that version there's easily enough room to slide in the usual Euro pallet. The useful load-through hatch increases capacity to 3.8 cubic meters. For this L2 long wheelbase version, the capacity figure is 3.9 cubic meters, extendable up to 4.4 cubic meters with the load-through hatch in use. In the L1, there's up to 1,200 millimeters of load area height. It's up to 1,270 millimeters in this L2, and up to 1,229 millimeters between the wheel arches. Load length with the short wheelbase L1 version is up to 1,817 millimeters, or 3,090 millimeters with the load through hatch in use. Now for this long wheelbase L2 variant, the respective load length figures are 2,167 millimeters and 3,440 millimeters with the load hatch in use. Now the load width is 1,630 millimeters or 1,527 millimeters with twin sliding side doors fitted. The crew van version can take up to 4 cubic meters with the second row bench folded. Payloads for this E Doblo standard panel van are rated at between 691 and 781 kilograms, the latter figure close to best in class. Braked towing capacity is 750 kilograms for this E Doblo. With this longer L2 model, you get sliding side doors. There are two, one on each side, each offering an aperture of up to 675 millimeters wide and 1,072 millimeters tall. As for cargo bay practicalities, well, there's a light at the top right corner at the back and 6 silver floor tie downs with the option of LED cargo area illumination and a 12-volt socket. The wheel arches aren't as intrusive to the load area as with some other small vans, but you'll still want to get them covered to prevent scratches and scrapes. With this electric version, as usual with an EV van, there's nowhere for the charging leads bag to go. With this EV, we'd want to specify Fiat's optional EPTO, that's electric power takeoff system. And that will allow you to power external devices like say power tools or lights from your E Doblo's dry battery. And running costs, well, here there's little for operators to worry about. Now, as we told you in our driving section, this electric model is now rated at between 179.6 and 213 miles on a charge, though those figures will take a significant drop in really cold winter temperatures, unless you pay Fiat extra for a heat pump, which comes included in the optional winter pack, which draws heat from the ambient air rather than needing the climate fan to generate it. This EV model's powertrain supports up to 100 kilowatt rapid DC charging, with an 80% recharge taking 30 minutes, while a full charge from a 7.4 kilowatt single phase wall box takes 7.5 hours, thanks to the 7.4 kilowatt onboard charger. Customers with access to 3-phase power can specify an optional 11 kilowatt onboard charger that will charge the E Doblo in 5 hours, 4 minutes, when using a wall box that also supports this faster AC home charging solution. If you're charging from a domestic 3-pin plug, a full charge will take a yawning 31 hours, 10 minutes. You'll also need to know that Fiat Professional includes a 3-year, 100,000 mile warranty as standard. That's better than the packages offered with the equivalent Vauxhall, Peugeot and Citroën versions of this same design, but way off the up to 10-year package that you could have on the Toyota 𝗙cie version of it. A year's free breakdown cover is also provided, along with a 6-year anti-corrosion guarantee. With this E Doblo, the battery is guaranteed up to 70% of capacity for up to 8 years or 100,000 miles. Service intervals are every 2 years or 25,000 miles, depending on which comes round sooner. That's for all variants, and you can opt for a service plan that lets you pay monthly to spread the cost of regular work to your van. Fiat's warranty package can be extended up to 5 years at extra cost under Fiat's 555 Peace of Mind deal, which also gets you 5 years of servicing and roadside assistance. Quite a few Fiat Professional dealers also look after Iveco trucks, so they're better versed in the needs of commercial operators. The E Doblo arrived rather late to this particular segment, but that delay gave Fiat time to position its value and warranty package closer to the needs of likely operators. If you can get your dealer to throw in a lengthier 5-year warranty package, then you'll get a standard of after-sales cover that could really swing you this LCV's way. Also significant is the fact that quite a few Fiat Professional dealers also look after Iveco trucks, so they're better versed in the needs of commercial operators than a dealership primarily specialising in cars would be. As for the E Doblo itself, well, the driving range and practicality stats are competitive and prices match the class standard, which is still further above diesel engine levels than it ought to be. If you're ready to make the EV switch for this class of van though, this one makes more sense than most.